Hey people, it's me, KM. So the new school year has started for me, which means I'm going to start a new series which will carry on for the rest of the school year on the last Saturday of every month. As a lot of you know, I'm a science fiction writer, so the way this series is going to work is that I'm going to read a science fiction story and you'll get the next installment of that story next month. But there's a twist. If you leave me a one-word comment, I must use that word in the next installment of the story. Now, if multiple people leave the same word, I'm not using it multiple times. Don't play that game, all right? Leave me a word you want to see used in the next installment of the story, and I will use it. All right, without further ado, installment number 1, The Banquet. Some days, Mona felt like she could almost smell the banquet in the frigid autumn air. Of course, it was impossible. It was too far away, but maybe it was just the thought of dozens of roasted birds, mountains of roasted potatoes, fresh vegetables, rolls so soft they melted in your mouth. In her little village, a single bird had to feed a crowd of 20. She'd waded through months of petitions, years of waitlist, a whole lifetime of watching her friends hear their names read and overflowing with joy. Those unselected and left behind shed tears as they bid the blessed farewell each month. The banquet was an initiation into higher society from which the invasion had removed the village. Mona was too young to remember what life had been like before the invasion. Once a month, 100 villagers were selected from amongst 1,000 villages. Mona held her breath through the ceremony of promotion as the treaty ambassadors read the names of this year's banquet attendees. Hers was the last name read. Mona didn't have much time to say goodbye to her family and friends. Her heart pounded and her head was dizzy with anticipation as she filed into the banquet hall with all the other villagers. Crystal chandeliers hung from the ceilings. Candle fixtures adorned the walls, amongst paintings and drapings. Flowers lined the doorways. An attendant held the door open for the villagers, dressed in a full tuxedo. Mona glanced down at her rags and fiddled with her torn sleeves. The attendant closed and locked the door behind himself. Mona smiled and closed her eyes, breathing deeply in the air. But she smelled nothing. No roasted birds, no potatoes, no vegetables or rolls. She blinked a few times and looked again at the warmly lit, well-decorated room. There were no dishes to be seen, not even a table. Mona paced from one side of the room to the other. She paced her breathing. Surely the food would arrive soon. What other reason could there have been for the wide, enthusiastic smiles of the treaty ambassadors as they announced the names of the blessed for the ceremony of promotion? The far end of the room opened to a large balcony. Legs numb, Mona stumbled to the edge of the balcony and peered over the handrail. A villager girl about her age looked up at her from the floor below, quizzical expression in her eyes. Mona glanced up, yet another balcony above. The cool air nipped at Mona's cheeks and neck. Odd, misshapen hills divided the orange orb of the setting sun into a glowing semicircle. One hill began to move. Mona gasped and raced back into the banquet hall, straight to the locked doors. She slammed her fists against them. "Let us out!" she cried. "I don't understand," a man cried out. "Where's the banquet?" A booming voice shook the walls and rattled the chandeliers. "You are the banquet." An enormous hand, twice the size of Mona's entire body, reached in through the window and grabbed the man, dragging him outside. That is this month's installment. Tune in next month, leave a one-word comment, and that word will be in the next section. I will see you then. Subscribe if you don't want to miss it.